everyone, and welcome back to the Willy Wonka Fibers podcast. My name is Anne. Today is Monday, June the 13th, 2016. Should mention that. You can find me on the web at my main website, which is www.willywonkafiber.com. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook account under Willy Wonka Fibers. I have a Ravelry group as well under the shop name. And then you can find my personal Ravelry page under Bunny Spinner. Today is a gorgeous summer day here. Keeping our fingers crossed for some much needed rain coming in, hopefully this afternoon, some thunderstorms. It's been hot. It's definitely moved to summer weather and supposed to be even hotter this weekend. Now, not hot like Las Vegas or Arizona. We don't usually hit the teens this far north and at our higher altitude, but 80 is plenty hot for me, and it's supposed to be in the mid to upper 90s by this time next week. So lots of heat, and any rain we can get this time of year we will definitely take. So I hope everybody's been doing great. Kicking off summer. I know most kids are out of school by now, unless they're in like homeschooling or summer school, that kind of thing. So I know there's a lot of folks going and doing family vacations, and hopefully you're having a chance to do some crafting as well. This podcast, if you haven't joined me before, is about my knitting, spinning, my hand dye business, my knitwear design business, and all kinds of fun crafty things. So if you are new, welcome. Thank you for carving out a little bit of time to sit and hear about what I'm working on. And if you're a returning listener, thank you all so much. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there you can pick from, so I appreciate the fact that folks choose to come back and spend a little time with me. I have been doing a lot of knitting. We are definitely in the middle of Stash Dash now, or I should say well into Stash Dash. It runs from May 27th through August 21st. So we're just about 3 weeks in, give or take. This is week 3. So I do have a couple of finished objects I wanted to share with you guys. I finished the fall sweater for the design collection. That is done, completely done. Ready to go off to my TE, but the sample is finished and I love it. This, I think, is one of my favorite sweaters I've designed, and it fits me. So I'll have a new sweater to wear in the fall when it quits being 90 degrees out. I also finished up, you might remember I had one of these socks done. I finished up the second sock in this pair. These are a self-striping colorway that I did up for Valentine's Day, and I had knit the first sample that was done, but I did not have the second sock finished. So now they are both done. This is the Willy Wonka Fibers Rhiannon sock. This was a limited edition Valentine's Day colorway, so it is no longer available in the shop. So I'm either very late or extremely early. I am going to say extremely early. That sounds more like me. I knit these on US size 1 needles, which is 2.25s. I did a picot cuff, which just has a little kind of banded lining inside that it gets slip stitched down. I did an afterthought heel. The legs are 64 stitches in circumference, and then I just did kind of my usual wide toe. So these are going towards obviously Stash Dash, but they also are going towards the Box O Socks knit along, because I'm going to keep this pair for myself, and Jilly at the Knitting Broomsticks sock Club 2016, where you can knit socks, whatever you want. So these will go towards that. Kind of a fun pair. You know, I'm not sure I will haul them out to wear with very much except during Valentine's Day, but I do like the stripes. I think the colors are fun. All good. Anyway, another set of socks done and off the needles, and another kind of half-finished project completed, which that gives me a huge sense of satisfaction. And then the other finished object that I have this week is what I'm wearing. The pattern is called Whirlwind Romance. The designer is Nim Teasdale. It's been out for a little while. It's not a super new pattern. I knit it in Lisa Souza sock, which is a discontinued superwash merino sock weight, but you know, it's any fingering weight or even lace weight would work for this project. It's a gorgeous kind of dark blurple, one of my favorite colors, and I absolutely love the little picot edges and the detail there. And I think you guys can see I beaded the little Estonian leaf motifs. It came out a good size. I wound up using about 414 yards total. But I knitted on size 7 needles and then I blocked it. You can see it's really sheer. But it's a great wearable size. You know, it comes down, kind of covers halfway down your arm and across the back of your neck, which for me is always where I get cold sitting in air conditioning. So this was one of my deepest deep stash yarns. I think 2010 was when I purchased it. So it felt really good to get this knit up into something I'm actually going to wear. I can see myself, my husband and I are going to do a little mini getaway to Taos this weekend, and I plan on wearing this out to dinner one night. If we sit outside and it's a little cool, it'll be perfect. If we're inside in air conditioning, it'll also be perfect. Let's see, modifications that I made to the pattern. So the pattern, you basically knit this top motif until you run out of yarn. And because of this kind of wide crescent shape, you wind up, I mean, these last rows are super, super long. So you do want to make sure that you've got enough to get through the picot bind off, which eats up a lot of yarn. I wound up doing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I did 7 repeats of the lace pattern on mine, which I thought was a good size. Like I said, I only used about 414 yards total, so it's not like I was scrimping to get it done. The skein was 550 or 560 yards, so I actually had a little bit left over, but it had gotten horribly knotted, shoved down in my bag, so I just wound up saying goodbye to that last little bit, which I'm totally fine with. And what else did I do differently? No, that was just about it. So 7 repeats of the lace motif. I will say that while this is not like a super, super hard project, and certainly if you've knit lace before, you'll be fine with it. Even though, you know, the 2 sides are completely stockinette, I don't think I would recommend this pattern for a beginner simply because the stitch count changes in the pattern, and it's very hard to put markers between the motifs. You certainly can put a marker where the stockinette ends and the lace starts. That's easy to do. But unless you're very used to reading charts, and it is written and charted, but I just don't think it's a great beginner project. I think it's more maybe a 3rd or 4th lace project. And certainly, like I said, if you've knit lace before, you won't have a problem with it. It's just you'll need to understand where each of the motifs ends and how things line up. So you need to be able to kind of read your lace as opposed to having it be a brand new project where you'll want to put markers to keep each motif set and that the stitch count never changes. But you know, a great use of 1 skein of fingering weight, which we have gazillions of in our stashes, most of us. So anyway, those are my finished objects for this week. Really happy to have gotten through all of those. Let's see, next up, works in progress. Let me grab some tea here. I don't know, hoarse or something this morning. Okay, works in progress. One of the things that I showed you guys last week was the caramel latte socks, and I have sock number 1 done. I showed you this one last week. This is not like anything new or surprising. This is for the Coffee with CC knit along. There we go. Has a great textured pattern on the foot and also on the cuff. These are toe-up socks, and so I had the first one done and I had started the second one and I just had the toe done. So I have now finished the foot and turned the heel. I'm using the Fish Lips Kiss heel on these. And so I have now basically 3 pattern repeats to finish the leg. So these are about 3/4 of the way done. The yarn I'm using is from 2If by Hand. This is also a stash yarn. There's their card. This is their merino cashmere nylon fingering weight that was dyed by Maria in the Fauve colorway. And sadly, 2If by Hand are not dyeing anymore. So this is good to use it up because I have fond memories of my times going to Dallas Fiber Festival and getting to know those great ladies there. And I very much like this colorway. I think it's a wonderful neutral. I think it'll be great with a pair of clogs and either jeans or khakis come the fall. So anyway, I am going to try to finish this pair up this week. It's not really a mindless knitting project just because the chart, you just need to read the chart. There you go. So I will work on this in the evenings when we sit around for an hour or so after dinner and chores are done, when I'm hanging out with my husband and the dogs. A little bit of fleece there. Imagine that. So I have those and I'm hoping to finish those this week. I also put in some time on a project that you guys have not seen in a while, but I said I would get back to once I finished the other garment, which was the fall pullover sweater, and that is the heathered cardie. So I'm knitting this from Elizabeth Lavold's silky wool that I had in stash. There's a recurring theme here in this really pretty, I call it kind of a medium charcoal. It's not super, super dark, but it's not a pale, it's not like a pale pewtery silver. And I have gotten to the point, I put in enough time on it that I finished the yoke, which has this cute little textured pattern on it. Let me see if I can straighten that out and you guys can see that a little bit better. And got the sleeves onto scrap yarn. And I am working on the body now. Really great, easy to knit pattern. It's just a basic raglan cardigan, but I wanted something that was exactly that. Wardrobe staple, kind of goes with everything. I love gray. I wear gray a lot. So I figured this would be wonderful with, I have a gray skirt, I have a black skirt, I have black pants. You could toss it on really easily with jeans because it's got that kind of a little bit heathery feeling to it. No pun intended. I will link to all of the patterns that I've discussed in the show notes, so you guys will have that. I don't really have any goals on this. I'm going to knit on it kind of as I go, but I need to start another sweater design, and so that will probably be my more focused garment. If I get this cardigan done by the end of Stash Dash, I'll be happy. So a couple months out, you know, no huge rush. So I am working on that, and it felt really good to like kind of get back to that because it's been sitting woefully on my project table now for several months. So anyway, working on that. And then I also cast on for the Talisman shawl that's designed by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And this is the first shawl in her Shawl Society collection, which is, I believe it's 6 shawls that she's going to release, 1 a month between now and the end of the year. And she is kind of doing it as a knit along with, I guess, the theory that you would knit 1 of these a month, but I already know that's not going to happen for me. So I just wanted to knit them as I got to them. You know, no pressure, no whatever. So here is the pattern. You guys can see that. It's a very simple, basic shawl. It just has a little bit of texture to it and then some lace at the bottom. And I showed you the yarn I was going to use for it last week that I hand dyed. This is, let's see if I can get it to focus on the yarn. Yeah, there we go. This is my Gaia sock, which is a singles merino in the Bluebells colorway. And I really, really like this yarn. I'm so glad that I chose this yarn and this colorway for this project. First off, the singles are super, super drapey and are going to be great for a shawl. And then I love the colorway. Let me see if I can get it. I'm in the middle of one of the rows and I'm kind of at the point that the rows are long. I'm only about 40% through, but they're already long. So you guys get to see it kind of halfway through a row. But that's a pretty good approximation of the color. It's maybe a hair washed out. Let's try backing it up just a little bit. It's, you know, really pretty soft blues, greens. There's just a tiny, tiny bit of little pops of a dark rose you can see in there. So this is also, you know, not like a deadline type project. I'm just knitting on it, but it's a very simple shawl. It knits up quickly. I mean, I cast this on Friday and I'm 40% through it. So the joys of stockinette. We'll see the last rows that have the lace obviously are very, very long. They may take me a little bit longer to get through, but for good or for bad, I do have a ton of appointments this week, and so I will plan on taking that with me, and then whatever I get done on it is what I get done. Really enjoying this knit. This is a, you know, like I said, very straightforward project, really fun. If you've worked with any of Helen's patterns before, you know, she doesn't do a ton of crazy construction, stitch count, or stitch patterns changing, and you have to have 73 markers in there. They're just kind of soothing knits. So I've been enjoying working on that. That's been a nice kind of mindless project that I needed to have some sort of palette refresher for this weekend. Let's see. So I think that's everything that's currently on my needles. I've been debating about what I wanted to do for a handspun project for June. And I think I'm going to knit another pair of socks. I've had this DK weight handspun kind of planned as a knit for a pair of socks. So I went ahead and skeined it up this weekend. It's a superwash merino from Fat Cat Knits. And I did it as a chained ply, so it should stripe, and the colorway is called Denim, and it has lots of denim blue in it. It's got a little bit of a chocolate brown, and then kind of a khaki, and a little bit of white. So anyway, I thought I might knit up a quick, easy pair of sort of heavier weight boot socks out of this. I just need to decide on a needle size. I'm thinking maybe 5. And I'm going to do these toe up so I can use up all of the yarn and kind of get the most bang for my buck out of this. I don't normally knit socks that aren't fingering weights, so I have less of a good idea about where I need the stitch count to be, you know, versus my normal 64 stitch in the round. This will obviously take a lot less stitches in the round for the same size sock. So that will probably go on the needles this week too. I've got a couple of other things that are some design work. If you are in the Austin area, I'm going to be at the Happy U during Yarn Crawl, which is the first full weekend in October, and then the following weekend. It runs like a weekend, a week, and then the weekend. I'll be teaching 2 classes, and then the Happy U will also be carrying a brand new pattern of mine that's exclusive to Yarn Crawl, as well as it'll be one of the featured sale type yarns for Yarn Crawl. And I will, if you are in the Austin area or that southern Texas area, I will just let y'all know that I am not going to be attending Kid and You down near San Antonio this fall. I just couldn't make that work with some other things going on. So that time at the Happy You, if you want to meet and greet, is going to be it. I will have the fall collection that will premiere there, and like I said, I'll have a new colorway that'll go with a matching pattern. So put it on your calendars. I will be there the first full weekend and probably a day or two after that to teach. So if you want to come out and hang out with me, which I would love to have y'all do, please mark your calendars for that. You can always get in touch with Misty at the shop, which is the Happy You, which is in Jonestown. I'm going to be teaching the 2 classes I'm going to be teaching. We should have some promo material on them probably mid-July. I'm not sure when she's going to open signups. I will tell you that one of the classes is kind of oriented to spinners, although there's no actual spinning technique in it. It's more about wool breeds, so it's applicable for knitters too. That's going to have a limited number of people just simply because I have a limited number of samples, and so everybody needs a set of samples when I run through those. That'll be the cutoff for that particular class. The other one's a little more flexible. And I'll get you guys more information when we get closer. It's still a couple months out. Still in planning stages. It's always fun. It's going to be a blast. I'm just saying. Not quite there yet to release details, so stay tuned. Let's see. I did want to mention Tour de Fleece is coming up soon. We just have a few more weeks before it kicks off in the beginning of July. Again, would love to have you on the Woolly Wonka Fibers Tour de Fleece team. There is a thread for that in my forum group on Ravelry. Very casual, spin whatever you like. Just, you know, some fun spinning time. That's all. There you go, easy. I did get through a finished handspun project this week. This is from my Spin the Bin project. This is, and I showed you guys the roving last week. This is a superwash Corriedale from Funky Carolina, who alas is no longer dying. This was from one of her clubs, and I had two 2-ounce braids of the superwash Corriedale that were dyed. The colors were complementary, but they weren't exactly the same. And actually, when I unbraided them, they did both have a lot of kind of a dark blackish purple in them, but one had a lot of brighter blue and the other had green and some more kind of, not hot pink, but a bright pink. So I spun this up thinking I would make socks from it. It's a 2-ply. I did my same kind of process with this where I tried for a lighter, more lightly spun single to keep it kind of poofy, and then I put a tighter twist in it for the plying end of things. So you can see there's lots of that dark purple, almost black, but then there's also little pops of green, there's little tiny bits of blue in there. I think these are going to knit up into really fun socks, and I may put these on the needles, this skein on the needle for July, since I'm apparently on a sock knitting kick. But anyway, we'll wait to decide on that. No specific plans like for immediate cast on with this, but I love the spin. I love Carrie's color sense, and I miss, my wallet doesn't miss Carrie, but I miss Carrie. And her dye sense. So next up on my list, again, I'm sticking with my let's spin the bin stuff. This is a braid of Polworth from Wool Gatherings. It's been in stash a long time. It is an unnamed colorway, but it's got lots of reds. It's very fallish. Reds, plums, some orange, little tiny bit of kind of a pear green, I guess I would call it, like a yellowish green. So I have this braid that's multicolored, and then I have a braid from 2F by Hand that's that color. That's also Polworth. And so my plan is, because I had so much fun with one of the other combo spins I did this spring, where I did one multicolor braid and one solid braid, did a ply of each of these and then plied them together. That's what I'm going to do with this. It's also going to be 8 ounces out of the bin. There's lots of reasons I want to do this right now. So this is going to be my project. I'll be working on this, though, I would guess more than this week. I don't predict there's any way that I'm going to get 8 ounces spun and plied. But I think this will be a really pretty yarn to use for a fall shawl. And that's probably what I'll do, is spin with an eye towards that, spin something fingering weight. This has been in stash a long, long time. Time for it to get spun up. So I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned. I probably will have at least the single spun of that, but I'm fairly sure I will not have the other 4 ounces of the more solid color Polworth ready to go. I think that's it for projects and spinning and knitting and all that good stuff. I did, just looking over my piles of stuff I have going here on my desk. I did want to share with you guys that I did a swap with one of the gals who's in the Knitting Broomstick group. And Mel, Jilly had set up a thread saying, you know, if anybody wanted to do swaps for mini skeins, kind of work it out amongst yourselves, have at it, whatever else y'all wanted to do, contact each other, but here's the jumping off point. And so I responded to a post that Mel, who is the woman in a shoe on Instagram, and I think that's also her username on Ravelry. She is in Australia. And she said, oh, well, I would love to do a swap. I want to do more than just minis because postage is postage. You know, I can kind of send several things for the same amount of money as one little thing. So I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. So we hashed out kind of what we wanted to do, decided on some tees and decided on some minis plus some other yarn. I did not bring the tees down with me to share with you guys because one of the flavors, which is all fruit berry kind of flavors with a little bit of licorice root and hibiscus, I've already made it into iced tea. I have a huge pitcher in the refrigerator. It smells so good and I can't wait to try that. And then I opened the box that was the Australian afternoon tea, which is like a English breakfast, but black tea kind of feel. Already had some of that this weekend. There's a chai and peppermint, and I probably will use the peppermint for some other iced tea as well. But anyway, did not bring those to show you, but let me show you what else Mel sent me. First, the minis. She sent me all of these gorgeous, gorgeous yarns. One of the ones in this one I'm excited to try is the Knit Picks Felici in the Mountain Stream color. I have not knit the Felici from them before and kind of wanted to see what it was like. So thank you for including that one, Mel. I'm very excited about it. Oh, and there's another Felici in there. There's some opal. There's Hiawassee Creek Dye Works. Loops and Threads, which I don't know them. Cakewalk Yarn, I have not used theirs before. Some more opal, some more melon white. Yeah, so lots of really fun colors. So thank you, Mel. These are great, and all of these are going to be really fun to knit up for the scrappy blanket. So thank you. She sent me this adorable project bag that's got these really cute little sheep on it that she made. I love the fact that like every so often there's this cute little one with the black face. I just love that. And the inside has red and white polka dots. It's really a nice size. It's a great sock project bag. You guys can see the lining in there, I think. And then she also sent me some yarn. I know you guys probably will not believe this, but 2 types of sock yarn I have not actually used. Crazy Sober Ball in this gorgeous set of kind of blues, blue greens, denim blue. There's some grays in there. The perfect sock for jeans. And then she also sent me a skein of Opal Sweet and Spicy. Also a wonderful jeans colorway, not wholly dissimilar from that color palette. And I don't, let's see if I can get that to focus. You guys see the little stripy sock on that? It's obviously self-striping, but then it's also got the little Fair Isle sections to it. So thank you so much, Mel. I had to restrain myself from casting on all the things this weekend. I mean, not that I couldn't have, but I have to. I'm trying to get a little bit of order and not have 73 pairs of socks started, because that's actually what I'm working on to not have, since I have several of those. It was a really wonderful swap. Thank you for reaching out and asking about, who else wanted to do that. I really enjoyed picking all the things that I sent you. So hopefully your package will be there soon and you will have all of those goodies in hand at your end to enjoy going into July and August, which I know are cooler months for you guys, and lots of warm woolies are always appreciated that time of year. So I think that that's it for this week. I plan to podcast again next Monday. Hopefully we'll have a few more things to share with you guys, some finished items and definitely some progress reports. I'm kind of in the midst of some of the bigger projects, so I may not have a ton of finished objects to share with you guys this time next week, but for sure I will be here, so please come back, check in with me. I hope you have a great week filled with crafting and all kinds of fun things with your family. Get out and enjoy the weather, whatever it is like in your neck of the woods, and I will talk to you guys in a week. Take care. Bye.